Hi everyone, welcome to Get Ready with me, Louise. So today we're going to be playing with an older palette. I don't know if you can still get it on Sephora or not, to be honest with you. But Sephora is having their sale, 20% off. Still, let me check. I'm in my app right now. Let's look real quick. But we're going to be looking for, or working with, I'm sorry, the, it is still available. And it doesn't have good reviews. So, the palette we're going to be working with is this one here. Artist Couture Supreme Mauves Eyeshadow Impress Pigment Palette. It is $45 right now, but you do get 20% off of it if you're Rouge. I'm having a rough day talking today, y'all. Anyway, and it only has 3 stars, though. And even I have mixed opinions on it. When I first got it, I only have one other palette by him, the Ethereal Bloom, and I actually like that one, I think. I really did like that one. This one here, I really liked, but didn't love, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, I have these in 1,000 different palettes, right? Let's get started. We're going to go in with Royale, which is this one right here first. And I mean, it created a very pretty look, right? But we all have these colors in other palettes, and I think that that's the problem. The formula of this is just nothing special, really, you know? And I think that's where the problem lies. And because there's nothing special about it, there's one shade in here that can get everywhere, which is Risk. It's a glittery mess, to be honest, this one right here, and you'll see in a minute. Now, it was easy. I will give it credit. It was easy to wipe it away, so the fallout did go away. However, I do have a feeling that throughout the day, yeah, it's fallen now. So, I think it'll continue to fall, to be honest. So, I mean, for me, and I didn't spray it or anything, so take that in mind. For me, though, if a shadow is going to fall, that shadow better be, like, out of this world type of thing, you know? Like Pat McGrath. Like, I know some of her shadows are going to fall all over my face, right? It's hard to keep those, you know, intact. Now, it's made it a lot easier for me using her, what is it called? The Artistry Wand. It's made it easier to keep hers. I'm just using that same color for the lower lash line, y'all. To keep them lasting on the lid. I get about 8 hours, if I'm lucky 10, but definitely 8, before I notice, you know, it's starting to fall. So I do enjoy that one, but it's also Pat McGrath, you know? So it is a little bit different when you think of it like that, in all the formulas and all the different brands you can purchase from. This isn't one that I feel I'm, you know, gonna really waste my time and mess with. And that's the other thing. You really do gotta kind of mess with these shadows. And as a beginner, it's not the easiest. Now, this one isn't bad. The lighter ones really aren't bad. They're just shadow, you know? Like, it's not that big of a deal. They blend well. They work well. I have no problem with these ones. The problem is with the darker ones, to be honest. That's where the problem lies, and you're going to find out here in just a second when I pull that one. And when I first reviewed this palette, I'll be honest, I did not realize the problem that I did have with this shadow, because I don't know if I actually went that dark in the look to begin with. Just brushing away that. So we're going to go into Prestige, which is this darkest shade right here. And I think I did use this shade, but I think I used it to line when I first reviewed it, if I'm being honest. But today we're going to use it to darken up the outer corner. So I've got a little bit on my brush. I'm going to tap it off. And I'm going to pat it on first where I want it. Because I did find that that worked a little bit better. and then I'll blend it. Now, when I was doing this, wherever I placed the brush, the shadow kind of stuck there. And I don't know if you can see, but like I put the brush here and this is where it stuck, right? So you want to blend it now, but like I'm having a good bit of difficulty blending that, you know? And then what had happened was it started to look patchy when I was doing the other eye, mind you. Not, you know, I don't know what this is going to do on this one. No, I fixed it by, of course, adding a shimmer because, you know, metallic shimmers can make everything 10 times better. I mean, it's not bad. It's not. It's just not great for the price either. Now, when you're talking about it and you're like, oh, well, 20% off of the price, is it worth it? I don't know. I really just don't know about this brand, y'all. It isn't a brand I have, I think, 2 palettes and 1 loose shadow from this brand, which the loose shadow was free from Sephora through in water or something. You know, they do that. And it is a pretty shade, but again, it's a mess to work with, but it's pretty. I give it that. But I just don't think this palette is really worth it. Now, especially because when I did review this palette, it was a while back. First off, my preferences, I didn't know what they were, you know? I knew like what shadows I liked, and this would be a palette based on color selection that I would love, you know? I'm just taking that same dark shade and running it along the lower lash line. Like, it's definitely a palette that I would gravitate to as far as that goes. However, it's not the easiest due to this color here and another color. So there's 2 colors, and being that this is the darkest, you know, you're gonna want to, I feel like, play with this shade, you know? Like, it's one thing if it's a shade you don't even like and it doesn't perform properly out of a palette, but when it's a shade you kind of need to create looks with, you want that shade to work, you know? At least for the most part you do. And I just find this shade to be really stubborn. Wherever you place it, it just kind of sticks and doesn't want to blend very well. Now, I was thinking about that, and I'm curious, is it because I'm using synthetic hair? Because, you know, if you use Pat McGrath shades, they don't all the time work well with synthetic brushes. So I was thinking maybe that was the problem. Like, maybe you can't use synthetic brushes for this. Which, if that is the case, then it's definitely not worth it in a palette, because it's, like, it's, again, one thing if it's Pat McGrath, it's a whole other ballgame that it's this one. And this color story's been done so many times, you know, I probably have the same color story. Well, I know I do, in a ColourPop palette, you know? Going back in with that first shade to blend that out. But it's just really hard to blend, to be honest. Now, with it said, though, first shade again, it is a very pretty palette. And it does create a very pretty look. I mean, I know the first look I created was pretty, and like I said, it wasn't dark like this one by no means. I can't place this formula either, but I feel like there's another company out there. It doesn't have the exact formula, but close. It gives me problems. And like I said, this palette did not get the best reviews, even from other people. And I kind of can see why now. And again, it kind of sucks because this is the first palette I bought. And it seems like everybody does like the nude one. But, you know, I didn't want to buy another nude palette. I have so many. But you see, this just does not want to... doesn't want to really work. I mean, actually, this eye is doing better than the previous eye. I don't know. I guess maybe... I did use a different primer, but than I usually use for my eyes, but to be honest, I mean, it's still a good primer. I use Sigma primer instead of my MAC primer that I usually use. I use the Sigma stick, but I mean, I use it all the time too. So I just can't imagine it's the primer that gave me the problem, to be honest. And of course, you can't see it now because I did put, like I said. So the next shade I went into was Seductress, which this is a very beautiful shade. This one right here. Okay. And we're going to place it on the lid. And I placed it over here because I had a lot of mess up on the other eye. Now this one, I'll be honest, this eye don't look, it didn't give me as much problem as the previous. Which is good. So, you know, keep that in mind. And I brought it over a good bit, this shade. Look at that. I mean, that is a gorgeous shade, no doubt there. Then I went into the shade Strip Down, which is this one right here. And I put it in the inner corner. And again, these shades I have no problem with. And if you spray them, you'll get more of a, you know, result with it. So I put that in the inner corner, and then I just decided to take it on in more to meet up with that color, the darker shade. Just to sort of lighten up my inner eyelid a little more, you know. This isn't necessarily the brush you want to use, but it's the brush that I did use. So I took it over like that to lighten that up a little bit. Okay, and then back into the Seductress shade. Sort of marry the two together. And then I wanted to show this shade here, Risque, because it's a really flaky shade and it gets everywhere. So what I done was I just picked it up with my finger, like that, and then I tapped it right in the middle of my eye. Like that. And using your finger, you're going to get, you know, a little better payoff. Again, you could use a brush or glitter glue or whatever you feel comfortable with. I personally don't like to use my fingers because I make a mess, but notice there's fallout, and there's a good bit. Now on the previous side, I got it to scrape away pretty easy, and it seems to be that way now. But through even, like, I've already scraped this side once and it's come back. So it's continuously falling, basically, this shade is. Is that a problem for you? I don't know. I'm just letting you know that what I'm going through here, because it, again, it's the palette. Like, I would go through that for Pat McGrath, for Natasha Denona. Um, heck, I mean, I would go through it for even, like, the Tom Ford pricing, you know, or Charlotte Tilbury, or whatever, but not this. Not this. I'm not gonna lie, not this. And I feel like being a makeup artist, you would know that. You know what I mean? Top lashes, I'm gonna use the Tower 28 mascara. At least that's what I assume. But I mean, I'm sure he had a purpose. And like I said, the nudes palette has great reviews on it. Truly great. And I've heard people rave about it. Like, and this is a different formula and all that than the previous palettes. In which case, that's nice. But I bought this palette. It's a different formula. And it didn't perform well. Now, with the 20% off, is this palette still worth it? That's up to you. It is still available, so might be something you look into. It's online only. I personally, I guess I am glad I have it, considering it wasn't the best palette, so therefore whatever he releases or previously released, if I purchased, you know, maybe it'll be better. And then I'll see the difference in them. But like, as far as like using it, this is a beautiful eye look that I created. I think it looks very pretty. I truly do. I think this looks very beautiful. I don't doubt that one bit. Okay, I do. But I don't think it's just worth the hassle, to be honest. And I don't reach for it often. Matter of fact, this is the third time I've used this palette, I believe. I do believe I created a video with it when I first got it. And it was, like I said, it was good. It's not bad, but it's not great either, you know? Like, I do think you'll create a lot of pretty looks and get use out of it, but at the same time, you can get it better looks from another palette. In my opinion. Alrighty. And then for the bottom lashes, we're going to use the Lancome. Yeah. And here's the disappointing part too. I just got done doing all my Marc Jacob palettes, and I loved them. And he was a makeup artist, and so is Artist Couture. So you would think that, you know, all the palettes would be decent at least, you know? And in a sense, this palette is decent, you know? I'm not going to rag it that much. But for Mauve palette, there's definitely better. You can get the same look by using a Natasha Denona palette. What is that? What was hers called? Well, the Dream palette, that would definitely be one, but I'm thinking, Hold on, I'm thinking of this one, I think. The retro, I believe, is what one I'm thinking of. You can get the same look. So, I don't know. It's all right. That's all I really got with it, you know? Oh, and the Tower 28 mascara, everybody raves on it too. And it's not bad. It's not transferring. It's easy to use. There's no issues there. It builds on itself. It builds on top of itself nicely. It gives me a little bit of lift because I didn't curl my lashes, as you saw. And I guess it gives me a little bit of volume and length too, maybe. So I guess in a sense it gives me a little bit of everything. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I do think this looks nice. Let me see here. I'm sorry if you can hear that. My daughter. Alright. I like it. I do. I like this mascara. It's not bad. Not bad at all. So, I would recommend that. Easy to use, even for a beginner. I think my eyelashes look okay with it. I mean, well, no, they look better than okay. They look good. My lashes do, I think. So, all in all, I mean, this is a pretty look. That's the problem. However, there's really just two shades in here I'm not a fan of. And then there's a couple of shades that I feel like you only need one of them, in a sense. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Let me darken this up some more again. I lost a little bit of the darkness there. Now, if you're just going to use this dark matte, though, to line with, that wouldn't be too bad. I think that would look nice, and I think that's what I did with my first look, if I'm not mistaken. Because honestly, when I first did review this palette, I really, really liked it, to be honest, and I was shocked at why people didn't like it, right? So then I decided, well, let's play. And I still didn't use that dark shade. I've always used that dark shade to line. Now I see what it does. It doesn't want to blend. It's lovely. It will blend. Let me rephrase that. It will. You're just going to take a lot of work to blend it out good. And if you have the time, you're going to create a really pretty look using this palette. If you don't have time, you do not want to waste your time with this palette. Let's just say that. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped in some way. I give this palette a C. CD. A C or a D. A CD, yeah. I'm going to say a C. It's just an average palette. But then again, a D, because of the brand, I expect more too. You know what I mean? So in a way, it's like, oh no, it's a D because of who it is. But just based on the palette, just nothing else to do with it, just the palette itself, it's a C. You can make it work. It's a pain in the butt, but you'll get a beautiful look at the end of the day. So that's a C to me. You know, take that with what you want, a grain of salt. It's just my opinion as a beginner in makeup. Now, if you're more advanced than me, you may have tricks and tips and all sorts of stuff and can work that palette like nobody's business. I just cannot work that palette like nobody's business. I created a pretty look, don't get me wrong. I really like this look, right? But it took me a long time to get there. It really did. For blush and bronzer, I'm using the Pat McGrath. This is Nymphette. And for blush, which I love, I know a lot of people like Flirtatious, but I think this one's my favorite. Nymphet. I have to play with the Flirtatious again, though, to see. And then I'm wearing for bronzer, the Bronze Dawn. And I do think this here is my perfect bronzer. I will say that the embossing of it is, I'm kind of getting down. Curious if I use this, how long it's going to take me to go through this. I'm kind of concerned with that. I really am. I don't think this is going to last me long. Is that a bad thing? No, but, you know, if I'm going to keep going through these, say I go through it every 2 months, that doesn't seem like it's a good thing to me. I mean, it's good that I used a product, but, like, I feel like it should last longer, maybe? I don't know. I'm going to have to I'm going to have to see about the time frame, because I am really loving the bronzer. I think it applies wonderfully. I think that it even has almost like a, blurring effect. I can't explain it. When I put it on, it really does almost feel like it's blurring, like my wrinkles up here and like down here when I'm applying it. It feels like my pores are being blurred almost. It is really weird. Oh no, I'm getting a pimple, you all. Oh, but yeah, that's that. For my lips, I just threw on this Makeup by Mario in Bronze Glow. I like these a lot. I love the feeling of them. I love the look of them. I just don't like the application of them. It's weird. They feel weird even. Like when it goes on, it's like it kind of feels like it's slimy. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I don't. And I will say that I like the Tarte ones better, but the clicker to them, they break. At least mine have. Now others might not. Now you can obviously dig it out. Who's going through that trouble? Not me. The Mario ones have not stopped like turning. Those are working wonderfully. As far as like the performance, they're both kind of the same on the feeling and the wear time. But I like the texture of the Tarte ones better than Mario. But I like the Mario because they don't break. And I like the feeling once it's on too. Don't get me wrong. So both of them are good. Just depends on what you're looking for. However, be careful with the Tarte. They can break. So keep that in mind. But highlighter. I've been wearing the Charlotte Tilbury one. The one that just spins and spins. Champagne Glow. I'm wearing that one today. So I'm kind of all over the place today. But, you know, it is what it is. I was just trying out a new, that brand, or this palette, because I was like, oh, I think I really want to play with the Ethereal Bloom one, which actually would have went with my shirt really good, to be honest with you. But I didn't. But I'm going to play with this one tomorrow, I think. And, well, I guess I can compare those two formulas like that, too. But anyway, that's all I got. I'll let you go. I'm rambling enough. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, hit all that you're notified when I upload. I upload every day but Sunday. And I wish I could do my makeup as fast as I can talk. That would be pretty cool. Maybe in time I'll get better. Who knows? But I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye.